What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into the Flow State podcast. I am your host, Marshall Medallion, and today we have a special guest, Justin Jemison, on the podcast. He is a pro sports videographer. He is an author, an app developer, an avid runner, and just an overall amazing human being. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Marshall. Happy to be here.
Yeah. How's life?
Life's good. Life's good. Life's very busy. It's sometimes chaotic, and sometimes I question why I'm doing all the things I'm doing.
Right.
But you know, it makes life fun and interesting, and every day looks different.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to catch you before you go back on the road. I know right now you're in the middle of the NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
How's that been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. It's a different city every weekend. I travel somewhere different every week for 18 weeks of the football season. And so my crew that I'm on, we do 18 games. So most teams play 17 weeks with one bye week, but there are football games happening every week for 18 weeks plus playoffs and stuff like that. So I'm on the road for 18 weeks plus.
Perfect. So yeah, for the people that don't know you out there, let's start kind of a little bit from the beginning. Take us through a little bit of the journey of how we got here today.
Oh boy, how much time you got?
We got a little bit of time.
How much time do you have? Excuse me. Proper grammar
yes,
there.
Yes, we have a little bit of time.
Yep. Young Justin is I love to draw when I was a kid. I love creativity. I'm an only child.
Okay.
And to keep my active imagination. So yeah, you can relate. You get it. There aren't a lot of us only children out there. So
Thanks.
I'm glad that we got somebody that can understand.
Yeah, myself.
So to keep myself busy, I always play video games a lot. I like to draw. I even like to write a lot. So young Justin was just always doing something. I always like being outside. I like playing basketball. I had one of those big trampolines my parents got me. We had in our backyard. I had a tree house when I was a kid. I had a little bit of everything. Your parents took care of me.
Okay.
You know, it was pretty good.
Awesome. And for the viewers out there, you went to Middletown, right?
Went to Middletown High School. Yep.
Shout out Kyle Schwarber.
That's right.
Yeah.
We can't forget Kayla Harrison either.
Yes.
Remember her.
So high school, I know we had talked about it that you, that's where you first, I believe, started shooting video. Was that after high school that you started shooting for your hometown football team at all?
I started doing video actually in middle school.
Okay.
I got exposed to doing video. I actually started recording. It was our 7th grade boys basketball team at the time. When I was a 7th grader, it was like an after-school activity I did. Word got around. My mom was a teacher there at the school, and word got around that I was a little tech literate. So I was just like, I guess I'm going to fake it till I make it. So they bought some video equipment. They even had a screen, like you see the Jumbotron at sporting events. Well, my middle school had a screen they put up in the corner that was a Jumbotron, so to speak. And we had a little mini camera. We had a computer that was... So everyone knows the Apple MacBook. This was a PowerBook back in the day. So we had a PowerBook. That's a name people probably don't even know of. And we had the second version of iMovie. They're at like iMovie 14 right now. So we'd have a camera that would be recording the basketball games. We'd have the laptop where we'd ingest video clips and actually show little instant replays and play highlights up on the little screen we had in the corner. Yeah. And we had the first generation iPod, the original iPod, to play music during timeouts and halftime and stuff like that. So that was kind of my first experience doing video work in the sports world, so to speak.
Wow.
And when I got into high school, I volunteered. In Middletown, we used to have what's called TV Middletown. It was a cable access TV station. I was a volunteer there. And I recorded our high school football games, basketball games, concerts, parades, even graduations. And that's really what got my start in doing video work. And you see where it's led.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I first met you, we met through a mutual friend that you used to work with out of college. So walk us through a little bit of what videography became after college, because I remember you used to work another job.
I did.
Yeah.
My major in school is actually computer science. So I'm a computer nerd at heart. I always loved my computers. That's my first passion. And video was always a side hobby, kind of a side hobby and hustle, if you will. And when I was at I went to University of Cincinnati, so out of college, I actually made I was actually sitting at a football game. This is going back to 2007. I'm dating myself there. That was Brian Kelly's first year as a coach there. And that's actually when Cincinnati football was getting bigger and better, and we were always on some form of ESPN or Fox Sports before all these streaming networks are out there now. When you made it big, you were on one of the big networks, ESPN, Fox Sports. And I remember sitting in the stands one day, and I'm sitting football game with some friends, and they're like, "Justin, what's wrong?" I'm like, nothing's wrong. I'm just enjoying the game. So that, on my mind, I wasn't watching the game. I was watching the camera people on the sidelines.
Wow.
I'm like, how do I get out there with those guys and kind of repeat what I did for my high school, for the cable access TV station? So one day I actually walked up to one of the camera people after the football game, one of the UC football games, and introduced myself, said, "How do I get a part of your world? I did this at a much smaller scale, much smaller level, and I'm still just a child, so to speak. I'm young. I'm a college freshman," and they gave me some words of advice, words of wisdom, and I ended up making some contacts with UC football, doing some videography, and I eventually made contacts with, at the time, it was Fox Sports Ohio. That was the local regional sports channel that was covering UC sports when ESPN and the national networks weren't. Today, Fox Sports Ohio is now FanDuel Sports Ohio. That's what it's turned into over the years. And I started there. I started doing, I think my first game, I was on the sidelines holding one of the big bubbles that's called a parabolic microphone. That's how you hear the quarterbacks calling the plays and the players hitting together. So that was my first gig, and then made some connections from there and just kind of built my network. And just over the years, I'm 15 years in, and just built my network over time. And going back to working the regular job, out of school, I worked as a software engineer for one of the one of the regional banks here in Cincinnati, and I did the video work on nights and weekends. So I worked a day job during the day, 40 hours a week, and then nights and weekends I kind of do my hobby job, so to speak, that is now turned into a full-time career. So something turned side hobby and passion and turned into career now.
Wow. So, I've heard the quote that your network is your net worth. How much has connections benefited you in your way to get into the NFL?
Tremendously. Like I said, I started from knowing no one, just making cold calls and just going up and talking to somebody. And that can be intimidating sometimes. It's hard to do. Nowadays, people come up to me everywhere I go and say, how does one get here? I remember, I was in Cleveland a few weeks ago, and where my camera position is, I'm right near the fans, and they said, how many years does it take to get behind this NFL camera? I say, not as long as you think, but I've been doing it 15 years as of right now, and it does take a while because you have to work from the ground up. Yeah. You have to definitely work from the ground up, and it takes a while.
That's awesome. So we're shooting this at the end of 2025, going into 2026. I've been talking to a lot of friends about their goals for this coming up year. I know we were talking about how you separate and are intentional about going about things, but what are some of those goals?
I hate New Year's resolutions because they kind of dissipate so quickly,
For sure.
So quick. And so I'm more.
What are some of your New Year's intentions?
Yep, so New Year's intentions. So I've got several of them. I'll go into just detail on a couple of them. For example, I like being active, and one of my goals is I run several races throughout the year. I run Cincinnati's Flying Pig Marathon, and even outside of my marathon training season, which is typically January, which is coming up, January through the first Sunday in May, which is when the marathon is. Yeah. I typically run 5 days a week outside of that, so 25 miles a week at least. Some weeks it's 20. It kind of floats based on how busy I am. But my goal is to run 1,200 miles next year.
Wow.
As of right now, if I check my tracking app, I'm at about 1,100. So it's not too far out of reach. So I was just like, okay, I'll stretch myself a little bit, maybe do 1,200, maybe 1,300 miles. And then also, that's maybe more of a habit or achievement goal. I divide my goals into two different categories. One's kind of something that's habitual, so something I do all the time, so stay running pretty frequently as long as I'm physically able to. Yeah. And then achievement goal will be to finish my 5th full marathon race, so 26.2 miles, faster than I did last year, which last year I finished the Flying Pig Marathon in 3 hours, 40 minutes. I'm trying to do faster than that, but maybe 3 hours, 30 minutes. We'll see.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, I just started running myself. I've been, that's one of my intentions. I'm not waiting to the new year to start everything that I want to do next year. I've been actually, ever since Thanksgiving, I've been working out consistently, been practicing Spanish, and it was my goal to start this podcast. So
nice.
We're already getting started.
There we go. Another goal of mine is to, from a relationship standpoint with people, as I'm getting older, it's like, I'm sure you've noticed this, is we start to drift away, start to drift apart, and then it's like you may know a lot of people, but it's really like your true friends are the ones that are there for the long haul. So one of my goals this year is to build maybe an inner circle. It's like I know a lot of people, but as far as like know a lot of people from a deeper level, that somebody that's going to be there, somebody that you can call and talk to whenever you're having a bad day or even a good day. You know, someone that's going to be there and celebrate your accomplishments and stuff like that, and not be jealous of you or hate on you, so to speak. But build a deeper relationship with people. Maybe a group of like 5 or 6, real strong men out there. Because as men, we need support out there.
I agree wholeheartedly.
We need community.
Yeah, that's the whole reason it was put on my heart to start this podcast, is because I believe that some of the conversations that we have in private can be the catalyst for breakthrough for the people that are listening. I think naturally, how many times have we watched, a video or just been around a conversation that, in your head, you're like, I can relate. I never had the words or the vocabulary to articulate that, but it's a conversation I'm having internally.
Right.
And I think, it takes courage to be vulnerable and to allow another human to push you or pour into you. And yeah, I'm on the same wavelength. And so I'm glad that we have been able to meet.
Right.
Now let's talk about business. I know you have your own videography business, correct?
I do.
I know you just recently did something with a brand that reached out to you because they saw the content you were making, and they're like, can you do some mutual promo? Like, we'll give you, talk to me about that.
It's been fun because all the video work I do, everyone thinks every video thing is the same. People see me doing the sports stuff and they think, oh, you can do this too. There are different skill sets, kind of like making a podcast video, so to speak. It's like people that know how to do the sports videography in a live environment may or may not necessarily be able to do things in the film environment, film and movie environment, because they are different. They are different categories, so to speak, and just kind of have different, like one's live and the other is not. The other involves a lot more detail, so to speak. I mean, they're both detailed, but my business, we basically, I say we use video to turn attention into action. So work with small to medium-sized businesses to help them drive action. So action could mean more, for most businesses, it's going to be more sales. Correct. For a lot of businesses, especially nonprofits, it could be more donations, even more employees, because we know that a lot of businesses need employees. So that's using attention, as in video, in the eyeballs, people watching content online. Video is king these days. It's using video to turn attention into action and turn viewership into customers or employees or donations or volunteers. And so that's what my business does. We partner with small and medium-sized businesses to really help them drive action and, more importantly, just grow. We're looking at my business, Jemivision. It's a play on my last name, Jemison and Vision. So Jemivision is how I came up with the name.
Love that.
And we started it's been a journey. I started the business in 2018, and it's just been growing from there. And it started with people asking me, seeing me do all the sports stuff, and say, hey, do you know how to do this video work as well? And so eventually I started getting enough non-sports work that I was like, I need to start this business. And it's evolved many different times, but as of today, as of 2025, 2026, we live to serve small to medium-sized businesses to use video to turn attention into action.
Man, you sold me. Love that. Love that. Yeah, another part of this podcast, I definitely have really wanted people to see the behind the scenes of entrepreneurs. you know, how we met. You know, I'm your barber, and I was able to get you in the chair, and you know, I reached out to you, and we formed a relationship, and you know, our mutual friend's also an entrepreneur, and that's another thing that I really has been heavy on my mind lately, is that I was hearing this guy say that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and he said if we're made in his image, we were meant to create. And I find so much power in that, because I think that as a culture, we naturally kind of celebrate maintaining.
Yep.
And granted, if you haven't maintained, that's a foundation.
Yep.
You know, for anybody that's out there and you haven't, you know, been consistent in maintaining, that's the start. But for 2026, it's on my mind to multiply. You know, if you give an investment banker a certain amount of money, you come back a year later, you expect it to grow.
Right.
How big is atmosphere?
You're a product of your surroundings. So
Correct.
They say if you surround yourself with 5, let's just say 5 healthy people,
Yeah, for sure.
you're going to be the 6th healthy person.
And
you,
vice versa.
And vice versa,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yep, the opposite's also true. If you surround yourself with 5 unhealthy people, you're bound to be the 6th. So
For sure.
you're a product of your surroundings. So that's very important. So I'm really intentional about putting myself around people who want to grow, because that's what I want to do. And honestly, sometimes I feel like it's lonely when you're climbing that mountain sometimes, because
Definitely.
some days I feel like I'm on that mountain or an island by myself, because maybe it's just I haven't met the right tribe just yet. And I try to, because coming up I'm going to be rejoining my marathon training group with the Fleet Feet Running Club.
Yeah,
and
shout out Fleet Feet.
Shout out Fleet Feet, yep. And I will be, and then I'm a part of Toastmasters International, which is a public speaking club. So I'm going to be intentional about putting myself around people who want to grow, also in areas I want to grow, and then challenge me in return. Because it's hard to grow by yourself. You know, I'm pretty intentional and pretty driven, but community is important, especially when you're trying to grow, because there are going to be days where you're going to feel discouraged, and you know, it helps to go through it with other people. For example, going back to what I was saying about my marathon training group, we'll meet Wednesday evenings, at least the training group I'm part of, we meet Wednesday evenings and then Saturday mornings. And Saturday mornings in January and February, when it's still dark outside, and it's single digit temperatures outside, that's tough. But when you're going through it with other people, it makes it worth it. So community is definitely important. You're a product of your surroundings, and I think it's very important. And going back to what you said earlier, I don't think I answered the question all the way about your network being your net worth. We've all heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, but it's also who knows you.
Wow.
That's really important, because I've had people reach out to me that I didn't know for opportunities, whether that's in the sports broadcasting world or in the business world, and say, hey, I got your name from so-and-so. Are you interested in this opportunity? So it's who knows you more than who you know, to be honest.
And being prepared for that opportunity when it comes. So you were talking about, you know, it's kind of lonely. You feel like you're on an island in this journey of always being a better version of yourself. I relate, because, you know, I realize that a lot of times our frustrations are directly correlated to our expectations of the people around us. And not everybody's going to want to go to that next level.
Right.
You know, people are in your life for seasons. You know, I've been really mindful of, like, I don't personally believe in cutting people off. I believe that, I don't even want to use the word outgrow. It's just people have different intentions. You know, some people prioritize career early in life. Some people prioritize family. Some people prioritize healing, growth, just different things at different times. And I think that when you can really respect yourself and respect others, You understand that, we were together for this season. Maybe we might be together in another season. Because I used to want people to kind of be at my game. But I realized that other quarterbacks can't be at my game.
Right.
They have their own game.
Right.
And we can hang out in the off season. We can go to camp together. The reason why we're able to relate is because we're controlling as much as we can control in our own space, and that's the relatability.
Right. No, I 100% agree. And you oftentimes see this where more people want to tear others down instead of building themselves up, because building yourself up is difficult. And it's like our brains are designed to go towards pleasure or things that feel good,
Correct.
which is being complacent oftentimes.
Correct.
And pain and growth sometimes painful. So we kind of want to sit in a comfort zone a lot. And I've been there. We've all been there. We're human beings. And that's why I say community is important. It's important to put yourself around people. And, everyone's different. Everyone's life is different. Never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10.
Facts.
And everyone's in different seasons. And, one thing that we should always do is accept people for who they are and where they are in life.
For sure.
I'm never in the business of changing anyone, but if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, how do I improve in this area?" I'll be like, "Let's do this. Let's start here. Here's step number 1. Let's go from there." And being a friend, I will hold people accountable if they want it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm never going to force people to do anything, and I want the same thing in return of like accountability, because again, going back to the importance of community, it's just like it's important to have someone to hold you accountable and say, "Hey, why aren't you doing this?" And why? Otherwise, you'll never grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just speaking to my dad about the power of exposure. And I'm always talking to my clients about the different things that I experience and have experienced, because I think that naturally I am a product of what I've been exposed to. The whole reason I knew I could do this is because I've seen it done before.
Right.
It's kind of the foundation of, if somebody else can do it, or if I see it up here, it's a preview of a movie to be played. And I, being around like-minded individuals, people that are doing better than you in any regard, like for me, like I think everybody has something to offer, and I really try to always get a takeaway of like, okay, this person is really healthier. This person is really good at communicating, or this person's really good at selling, or this person's really good at whatever it may be. And I just try to glean that information. And then another thing, the quicker, and I learned this actually from a young age. When I was young, I used to read a lot of like business books, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Who Moved My Cheese, How to Win Friends, Influence People. And I feel like a lot of times in life you don't know what you want until you know what you don't want.
Right.
And I always, every time I cut your hair, every time we catch up, I'm always hearing you talk about you trying something new.
Yep.
Talk to me a little bit about how that has broadened your horizons, and how that, I feel like it keeps you young. I feel like it keeps you curious.
It does.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get stuck in the routine or humdrum of daily life. And so I made a decision. It was actually during COVID when we were all kind of quarantined, so to speak. You know, fortunately, I never caught COVID, so I wasn't actually quarantined, but we all were kind of forced to be indoors. Yeah. And I just kind of had a lot of time to think, and I said, where have I been in life? Where am I now? And where do I want to go? And I said, I'd like to unlock the palette of life here. Wow. And actually go out there and do more things, like grow my business, film additional sporting events, bigger events, better events, meet new people, challenge myself. And I was really thinking, I was like, I need to start opening doors. I need to start facing some fears to really unlock life. And I really feel alive now, because now it's just like, we always want to go towards a comfort zone. And it's just like we're hit with opportunities and life throws curveballs all the time, but because I'm always seeking ways to grow, seeking ways to face fears, leave my comfort zone. It's almost like I wake up every day, first of all, thanking the man upstairs that he woke me up today.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I was like, let's get it. Let's go out there and do something new today. I would say for people out there, it's easier said than done, but find what makes you happy. What's your purpose? Because oftentimes, like, people think it's, again, being on an island by yourself, like I was saying, it's rare to see someone who really enjoys what he or she is doing. Because most people ask me all the time, do I like what I'm doing? And I always say, I have the same response. I'm like, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
There are millions of jobs out there. Like, I would do something different if I was unhappy with this. Like, no, I don't like this job. I actually love this job.
Wow.
I love what I'm doing. I love being the one who I tell people I put professional athletes on television. And then I help businesses grow through video. Those are the things that I do. So the videos are what I live in. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing it. So find your path, find your purpose. It may not be tonight, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be this year, but at some point, find your purpose, and then you'll really find true happiness and true fulfillment.
Yes.
And in your passion and your purpose could be becoming a family person, becoming a husband, or becoming a father, or both. That's what I'd like to see in my life at some point, if it's in the cards for me to do both of those. And so just keep moving. And also, comparison is a thief. You never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10, because you'll never be happy. You'll always be behind this metaphorical prison because you're always comparing yourself, because there are people out there who have everything but still feel like they don't have enough because they're always comparing themselves. And practice gratitude. Practice gratitude all the time. I always do that. I do it every morning. I'm thankful. First of all, thankful that I got up this morning, and then thankful for the life I have, the opportunities I have. That I'm thankful for challenges that I have in life, because it helps grow me. Thankful that I have both my parents in my life still. Love them to death.
Yes.
And thankful for great friends like you.
Yeah.
And then friends that I haven't even met yet, and opportunities I haven't met yet. So just practice gratitude, and don't compare yourself to others, and just live your life, not someone else's.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you coming by today.
Yes, sir.
And more videos to come. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys shortly.
Yeah, thanks for having me.